Hi everyone and welcome back to Techie Anshi. In this video on my channel, I'm going to show you two very unique methods through which you can derive insights out of any data that you have. This data could be from any domain or any type, and you'll still be able to provide compelling insights into that data to your stakeholders. I'm sure you're going to love both of these methods that I'm going to demonstrate today in this video. So stay tuned and let's get started. For the first method that I'm going to discuss today, we are going to show what is the average value of top 10% of a particular category versus the bottom 10%. So it will instantly tell you the gap between your top performers and your bottom performers. The other method that I'm going to show you today is to divide a data set into quadrants and know which are your slow performing categories versus the one that are high performing categories. Let me know what do you think about this video. I can come up with a series of such videos where you can bring out insights from your dashboard using Tableau. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. As usual, let's begin with using our sample superstore data, but this is not restricted to this data source. You can use any data that you have. This methodology that I'm showing in this video should work on any of those. So I'm connected to the sample superstore data. As you can see, let me just go ahead and pull up the subcategories into the rows, and now I'll pull up the sales into my columns. As you can see, there are bar graphs that are created. I can also go ahead and further sort this in the descending order. So now I have the categories which are having more sales on the top and the ones with less sales on the bottom. I'm adding a quick average line to know what is the average sales for each of these categories. Now, if I want to know what is my top performing average versus my bottom performing categories average, that is something you can't know from here. So for this reason, I'm creating a simple if-else condition that you can use as well to create this calculation. What this calculation would do is basically it will compare the value of each and every subcategory with all the different subcategories that you have here and say whether if it is falling with less than 10% of percentile value of the total. If that is true, then it is our bottom 10% of the values. Similarly, let's add in the else if condition where we would say if the percentile is greater than 90%, then this is the top 10% of my data. All the rest that we are left with is now your middle. You can alter this based on your business requirements. So if you're wanting to look for top 25%, top 30%, you can just change in the second parameter in your window percentile calculation. Once this is done, let's click on OK and pull this onto our row shelf. You can see that this is going to create panes by the top, bottom and the mid values. Now our current average line is an average across all the different subcategories. However, we want the average based on these further bifurcations that we have created. So I'm going to pull that out and pull in another average line into the view. But before that, I'm going to format the text on the bar charts to make sure that it is showing us a currency value. So I've just enabled the text and I'm also changing this to a currency value right now. As soon as I pull in the average line into my pane, you will be able to see the various averages for the top, mid and the bottom percentiles of our data. I'm just hiding the label so that the average lines are easily visible. You can format this or also edit this and have it in the way that you want. Right now, this only shows that this is an average line. But if you want to show the average value, you can always edit this, and instead of the label being computation, you can change this to value and click on OK. So by doing this, now you will see the average value of the sum of sales for the category under that section. As you can see, the value for the top 10% is so much higher than the one for the mid percent and the bottom ones. So There is a huge gap between these average percentiles, and it gives a quick insight, and you can always say, hey, for your top 10 percentile, this is the average value. You can change this, update it. So for example, you want to say my top 50% of my categories is having an average of so and so versus the average for my bottom 50. This is how you can simply change the calculation and it should start working. So this is a very easy insight that you can derive from any kind of data where you have a category, a particular measure for which you want to say what is the average value for your top percentile versus the bottom percentile. Now moving on to our second method, which is the performance based quadrant. For this, I will pull in the profit onto the row shelf and the sum of sales to the column shelf. As you can see, there is a small bubble towards the right corner which shows you profit and sales value for the overall data. If I want to do the same thing for the subcategory, I can pull in the subcategories onto my detail shelf. Now I have the sales and profit value for each and every subcategory in my data source. You can also enable the label on it as well and update the marks card to maybe a circle or any shape of your choice. You can also fit this to an entire view, and you can also pick circle from your marks card. Once both of these are done, I'm going to add the sum of profit onto my size shelf. So now the size of the bubble represents the profit value. And next I'm going to add the sum of sales onto my color shelf, which means the colors would denote the sales value for my categories. You can use any kind of colors or combinations that you would like. For now, I'm going to simply use a red-green diverging color palette over here. So as you can see, the ones on the extreme right have got a good sales and also a nice profit, while the ones on the left side have lesser profit and also lesser sales. So how do we divide this into a quadrant? Simply pull on your average lines from your analytics pane onto your dashboard and you can see a quadrant that's created on your sheet. Now you can also experiment further. So I'll annotate this area and call this as more profit, less sales. You can format your annotations as in how you would want. These can be bold, of a different color, or any font that you would like to have them, and they would get added to the area that you have selected where that needs to be added. You can reposition them and adjust it according to your needs. Also, you can further format it, and however you want, you can edit it as well. Now I'll follow the same step for all the other three leftover quadrants. The right one would be more profit, more sales, adjusting it to the right corner. The bottom left one would be less profit, less sales. Again, as I said, you can reposition it as in how you would want it to be. So this quadrant is your major focus area because neither you're getting profit nor you're generating sales. And finally, the right bottom corner would be more of sales but the profit is less. Again, this could be your focus area as well, depending upon what is the business that you're trying to drive. So once all of these four quadrants are annotated, I'm just going to give it a little bit of formatting. So format it, give it a shade. Right now I'm just going to use some random shades just to show you how this can be done, but you have to use your business logics and color code these accordingly. So if your company wants to focus more upon a particular thing like profit or sales more, then you can color code them accordingly and make sure that they are falling into the business logics. Otherwise, you can keep everything as neutral as well. It's up to you. So once all of these four quadrants are color coded, properly placed, you can simply know which are the areas of focus, and you can pinpoint and tell that these are the subcategories that are doing good, but hey, these are the ones where you really need to focus upon because they are falling in your bottom left quadrant, and that's not good. Neither you're generating profit nor sales from it. So these were my two simple ways of generating insights using a Tableau dashboard, and this can really fit in and squeeze in into any given data set that you have. I hope you have learned something from this video. Please do let me know if you want me to create a series of such videos where you can generate insights out of any kind of data. I'll be happy to guide you through that. And do subscribe to my channel. Do like this video if you really enjoyed watching it at this point, and do keep coming back to Techie Anshi for more. I'll see you on the next one. Till then, bye bye.